that's
Alan
enough of that.
Silvestri would be proud.
If you haven't guessed by now, today we're going to be talking about an infinitely popular Marvel movie, which is infinitely good with everybody that saw it, and infinitely causing a lot of death in the Marvel Universe, and we're going to infinitely talk about it today.
Hell, you could call it a war.
Starring Sherlock Holmes, that guy from Scott Pilgrim, The Lion King, Mark Ruffalo, that girl, and of course, namely stars like the Flying Black Man, the Ant-Man, the Spider Iron Man, Peter Dinklage.
You're auditioning for the new
Thunderback.
Amish trailer, aren't you?
And we could go on. I mean, there's at least 40 characters in this movie by my count. I actually...
And half of them are all dead. Yeah, I don't think we're spoiling anything with that. A lot of death in this one. I mean, it's practically the theme of the whole friggin' movie.
Death.
Yeah, I mean,
Death.
we decided to wait a while before we talked about this movie because it's the kind of movie you really don't want to spoil for anybody because they will hunt you for it. And
Yeah, but I don't
now
think-
it's safe to say that everybody and their mom has watched this movie at least twice. So let's
Well,
full
not
spoilers
even
here.
that. I mean, people have already been spoiled before the movie because people who saw the movie at midnight couldn't help but post everything about it, spoiling it for everyone else. You guys are jerks, and I hate you. But that's
There's
besides
a reason
the
I
point.
avoid Facebook now.
Yeah. No, but seriously, I mean, the plot's not hard to figure out. You know, a purple biker named Bubba comes down to Earth because he really digs the jewelry that humans have. And he's like, yo, dude, I want to be able to control the cosmos and stuff. And, you know, by the way, I've got a real killer streak in me. You know, I just kind of want everyone in the universe, or at least half of them, to die. And I'm really sick of this tin can and this wizard and this little Spider-Man. They're getting in my way, yo. And I just can't have that. I'm going to snap my fingers and make them disappear. And then half the universe died. The end.
That's as good a sum up as any, really.
You think I'm joking, but that's actually what happened.
I mean, because
Well,
make
you
no
should see
mistake, this
You
is
should see
Thanos'
Pro's
movies.
video of that. He basically sums up the whole thing with a glove and Marvel trading cards. It's funny
Yeah.
as hell.
I mean, the plot couldn't be more stock. But, I mean, before we start bashing the things we don't like, I'm just going to say right now, I enjoyed this. I dug the villains. I dug his little henchmen. I dug the action. A lot of the conversations were meaningful. And, god damn it, they actually humanized Thanos. I didn't think they could do it. I thought they were nuts when they made him look more human and tried to give him a little reason. But, damn it, they succeeded. I bought that guy. I really did. I bought that. I didn't side with him, but I understood him. I totally get where he's coming from.
This was pretty much Thanos' movie featuring the Avengers because everything revolved around him. He was the main focus, him getting the stones, and the other characters were just reacting to him.
Oh, no. The other characters weren't just reacting to him. They were getting spanked royally by him. I mean, he was just bending them over and spanking them all individually, one by one, all together. They couldn't put a dent in his giant Jay Leno whale chin. It was just embarrassing. These guys who have been dominating all these villains come across just can't beat this purple biker. It's kind of funny, even. They just throw everything they can at this guy. They can't beat one purple biker with a jewelry fixation.
And
But
everything they do
Paul,
only makes him stronger. Each time they fight him, he's even worse.
Like a real redneck.
He was after the stones all the time, but he already had the most powerful weapon in the universe, his chin.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. Even the Hulk couldn't break that chin. Yeah, let's talk about that. The very beginning of this movie is actually very unique. Not only does he kill all the Asgardians in the opening scene, but he spanks the Hulk within like a minute, and he just takes it's like fucking Final Fantasy. He takes every stone, bleep 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 bleep, making him more powerful, and it takes him like no effort to do it.
Yeah,
Like
he
the
beats
hardest-
the Hulk into how do you say this? PTSD? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, I
Post-traumatic
prefer to call it a simpler term. He pussified the Hulk. The
Hulk
is
traumatized by horrible fight.
Yeah. Everyone's got their story arc, and the Hulk's right now is that Banner can't get him to come out because he got curb stomped by Purple Biker in the first few minutes.
I love that. I love that how it's like Bruce Banner has to own up to it and just like, you know what, I'm in charge. Screw you, you know. And he literally he's the hero of his own story in this, and I love that. It was so refreshing.
Right, but yeah, and I don't want to. I'll go into my theory about that in a little bit, but yeah, for now, I do like the fact that they tabled Hulk so that Thanos could have a chance. Because let's be honest, if Hulk was there, it would have been a lot more difficult for him to do what he had to do. Actually, I tell a lie. Star-Lord's the real prick here. Yeah,
no,
Star-Lord is the reason that everybody died.
Oh, man.
Yes. Star-Lord is the reason everybody died, okay? I'm sorry. He couldn't keep his dick under control, and because of that, they lost the Infinity Jewels to the Big Purple Man, and everybody died. So thanks a lot.
Okay, Volume 2, when his father revealed that he put the tumor in his mother, he lost his shit. He unloaded everything on him. And you know,
I know, and that's keeping in character. I get that. But you know what? This was a little more important than that, so you think he could have held it in, especially when they were just about to win. I know tension and all that, but come on. You could have done what... It's like, just wait to win first, and then you can wail on the guy. Take his weapon away, and then you can kill him. Fuck.
I know. Look, I'm just... My 2 cents of this. You're not wrong that it's because he screwed up, but... It's his fault.
It's his fucking fault.
He screwed up like that, and he gets the emotional... outburst every single movie is in. It's just part of his character.
No, I'm not.
It really doesn't bother me as much because I suck.
I'm not saying it's not fitting. I'm just saying, damn it, I wish it was for another reason. Because everything else I liked. Actually, the Guardians played an interesting role in this whole thing. I mean, yeah, he's kind of the reason everything got fucked up, but I actually really dug Gamora's role in the whole thing. She was like, Thanos comes back, plays I'm your daddy, and then takes her to the mystical land of Red Skull for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm still not clear on that one.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm the opposite on this. I mean, I feel like to a degree you're right. It definitely fleshed Gamora more than the 2 Guardians movies combined, but
it did.
It did at a cost. It literally fritzed her.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I like what happened to her, but it was an interesting role. I actually kind of I liked the build-up. I didn't like the ending, but I liked the build-up, what was going on.
I will say this, though. I mean, it was a frigid situation, undeniably, but if there was ever one that was earned to a degree, I mean, you can't earn this kind of thing, but if there was ever one that really called to it, because it was the only established relationship to Thanos, and the one that the movie, spends, the first half demonstrating that it's real, that Thanos does care about her. So when we get to that point, if they hadn't done it the well they did, it would have been empty. It would have been just like, oh, yeah, he loves people, but they did explore him. They did humanize him, and they did show he cared. So
that's my point.
If you had to do the soul by soul thing, which makes sense, you needed a proper soul sacrifice that meant something. Yeah. And the way they had
sure as hell wasn't going to be Nebula.
Yeah.
Oh no,
shit.
she is a walking butt joke. She is a walking.
Would have been a waste of.
She is a walking victim meant to be spanked and just humiliated in front of everybody else. She is a Smurf that dies constantly. She is Smurf Kenny. Her only job is being blue and abused, if you will. That's her only job.
But yeah, I feel like that moment, it kind of defines the movie for me in a nutshell. Because I do like this movie. And it's very complex and it's very well done. But it makes decisions that are so big and so impactful that honestly I still haven't fully processed.
What else do you expect from a movie called Infinity War? That's kind of a damning final title, don't you think?
Oh, there's anything but final in this movie. This movie was not the final anything.
No, I know it's a cliffhanger, but it's a part 1 though, so it's like both movies are part of each. Anyway,
yeah,
that's
what
they've been building up to.
That's another thing. Russo brothers, you tricked me. Okay, you literally said many times that, oh yeah, no, we changed. It was going to be Infinity War Part 1 and 2, but now it's Infinity War and another movie, and the next movie is going to be something else. But no, it really is still a Part 1 and 2. You just called it that to avoid haters, You tricked me.
Well, they probably did that on purpose because they're sick of people calling the shots before they get to announce them. I mean, creators have a real problem with that nowadays. Yeah. These days, fans are so prissy and fucking obnoxious about spoiling everything before it happens that creators have to be creative in dodging that. They got to be like, they got to fake you out sometimes, or else you're going to get spoiled before the thing even comes out. Personally, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I get. I mean, I just feels like I got tricked, but I get it. I get what you're saying. It's a fair point.
It is, because, I mean, how many Marvel fans just jump the gun and post everything about the movie before it even comes out? It's like, guys, chill the fuck out, man. Just let them do what they're doing.
Yeah, the thing is, fans like to assume based on any, even non-piece of evidence. I mean, like, I'll never forget when the Dark Knight Rises was coming out, and, you know, people were taking set pictures and making theories on anything. There was a picture of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you know, just literally throwing a snowball because they were shooting in the snow. And that was probably nothing. That was just probably him goofing around and said. But people were like, oh my god, this proves that he's going to play Mr. Freeze. I'm like, oh, wow.
No, well, yeah, that's what creators are dealing with these days. That's what they're dealing with these days. So they're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna get to it before they do, or we're gonna trick them into thinking it's something else, so they'll shut up.
Pretty much. So I got tricked, but I get why I got tricked, and I understand.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, one thing that kind of threw me through a loop was one of the plot points. There were several things that culminated in this. One being Star-Lord's little fuck-up, one being Gamora just kind of walking to her own death. But the thing that fucked me up, and the thing that's going to play a big role later, I guarantee it, is Doctor Strange giving up the stone. For those who don't know, Doctor Strange had the last Infinity Stone, second to last before Thanos won. And he had it with him, and he didn't have to give it up, but he did to save Tony, which tells me two things. One, Tony's going to play a big role in the next movie. He has to. And two, prior to that move, Doctor Strange went through a millions of simulations to see if there's anything they could do to beat him, and he said there's only one in which they won. So that tells me that giving up that stone was part of it, because he just handed it over. So in his little simulation, that had to be a part of it. So I'm wondering what. Definitely. I'm wondering what that part has to
Doctor Strange saw that there was no way they could win before he got all the stones. So he's like, but he saw beyond that. And like, okay, if we let him win, we can then beat him in return and fix things.
That's what I'm thinking as well. That's what I'm thinking as well, because he said he ran 14 million simulations, and there's only one where they won. So he's like, okay, if I play the role, if I do it this way, we can beat him.
It's not very subtle, actually. I mean, the way he's like, it was the only way, Tony. Now I die.
Exactly. He practically tells you that, and then of course, you know, Nick Fury, before he turns into dust in the wind, you know, he calls our next I don't know, what do you call it, our next contestant, Captain Marvel. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, she's gonna get her own movie, and then she's gonna be.
Well, they're gonna explain why he hasn't called her up throughout any of the other events in this.
Yeah, I really want to see. I hope there's a montage or something in the next movie where, like, we see Nick Fury at every cataclysmic event in the past few movies. Like, oh shit, Loki's invading. No, I'm gonna wait. Not now. And
then he just
Ultron has taken over Europe. No, it's still not the time.
And then when he finally shows up, that's my bitch. But no, come on, you can totally hear him saying that. You can just hear him saying that when she finally shows up.
Yeah,
it's a good thing, though, because
even if it's a funny or inconsequential one,
but
they can't ignore that.
Well, they're not going to. It's definitely going to touch on her origin. Though, I'm hoping they do what they did with Black Panther and just kind of show a little origin, but then just have her on the job, you know? That worked. I'm done with origins.
Off the
I want to just have them on the job.
Yeah, the thing about the Captain Marvel movie, it's in the past. It's literally set in the early 90s, and it showcases like a younger Nick Fury. There's even a younger Coulson in this, believe it or not. And supposedly the movie ends with her going to space to, I don't know where exactly.
I don't know, hone her power or some shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
so when Nick calls her, you know, he's calling her back to Earth. They're like, hey, we need you now, so get back from your sabbatical or whatever. Like,
yeah, come back from the Green Lantern home world if you're done and shit. No, but seriously, it's good that he did, because she's really their only big gun left. I mean, Tony's still around, Cap's still around, but Spider-Man's gone. In fact, you know what? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about who they had the balls to kill off.
I will say this. I mean, because we all watching this even before we went to, and even as the credits roll, we knew, okay, so yeah, they're all dead, right? But here's the thing: even though we know that, it still hurts so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, watching all of our characters fade away into nothingness, took tolls off of us.
I mean, how I was fucking broken. I actually was broken up when I saw Peter dying. I mean,
that was harsh.
It was. I mean, my God, he's just sitting there and he's apologizing to Tony. He's like, I'm sorry, man. And he's like praying and begging. It's like, oh my God, this poor kid is dying and he knows he's dying, and it's just like, God damn, it's just really hard to watch.
Wonder how Tony's going to explain that to Aunt May.
Well, Aunt May's used to it by now. Oh, I lost another one, Oh, well.
Anyway, you know what? Maybe May got vaporized along with the other half of the world.
It's possible. Fucking half the people have died, so maybe she's one of them.
Okay,
Though, you know what?
I'm gonna say
how about
right
this,
now.
though?
I'm going to say this right now. Let me say this, because this is like, I've been dying to say this. I hope, whatever other character got vanished in the MCU, I will pay money if Iron Fist was one of them.
Well, I mean, they didn't show any of the Defenders, but yes, I think everyone is just kind of thinking, wouldn't be so bad if half the Defenders Iron Man died. Just can we, if we beat Thanos, we could say, you can keep Iron Fist though. Just bring everyone else you killed back, but you can keep him. No one wanted him anyway.
Nobody wanted. The thing is, it pisses me off because I know these shows won't even acknowledge it. Like, we're not gonna have a scene where nobody vanishes.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. might. Because apparently, from what some friends have told me, the current season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. takes place during Infinity War.
Huh.
Yeah, they are a little better at keeping track of.
I guess they're a little I guess S.H.I.E.L.D.'s a little understaffed then at the moment.
I'm sorry, but I just don't care about that series anymore. It kind of outlived its point, and honestly, it just like it pisses me off because like those guys should have. I mean, part of this movie was a whole fight in New York. I mean, where were they? Or they just like Daredevil's like, oh, I'm blind. Remember, I can't see anything. So
it was casual. Hey, it was casual Friday, and they were all ready to go home early, dude. They didn't have time for alien invasions.
No,
so
but actually, a friend of mine told me that he went to Hell's Kitchen, and it's only like a block big. So it's like when you think about it, it's actually kind of silly. Daredevil's just like hanging in this one block, like it's my world. Nobody can take it. It's like. It's like, okay, if you go a few more blocks that way, dude, there's like this whole fight going on. Iron Man, Spider-Man, everybody's pitching in. Like, I will never leave Hell's Kitchen. Okay, cool. Just make,
Oh, well. But, I mean, okay, so we all agree that Iron Fist is dead and should stay dead for the good of humanity. But now here's one that was ballsy. I mean, and I know we all know he's coming back, but still, they killed T'Challa.
Yeah.
They killed T'Challa, and that was pretty ballsy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He was sitting right there with the general. We're like, okay, here's where she goes. No, what? They killed him?
The way it was angled, I thought it was going to be Okoye who turned into dust.
Everybody did. They did that on purpose. They put him right next to her on purpose. We all thought she was going to get the dust, but nope. Little Lion King there turns into a cigarette butt.
I mean, there's no way of knowing, but my theory is that this movie was made before Black Panther came out, and Disney realized, oh my God, this is like a lot of money here. We keep this going.
I mean, that's kind of the shit of it, though. We all know he's. I mean, come on, man. They just announced Black Panther 2. I mean, wow. How do you do that if he's a? How do you do that if he's a bunch of asses?
That's the joke of it all. All the characters, well, not all of them, but like the majority of the characters that died already have confirmed sequels. I'm just like, okay,
yes,
yeah,
I know.
So now
but
we just
you know
want to
what?
see how they come back.
Right. That's the real draw. We all know they're going to win. We just want to know how the fuck they're going to beat this guy who's basically a god now, you know?
Well, actually, here's another thing. I think the guys who got vanished are going to come back, but I think the ones that died pre-vanishing, those I think might stay dead.
Well, actually, there's been a lot of talk about that. We all
like
know about.
I feel like we've seen the last of.
Oh yeah, Tom Hiddleston said that he wants to stop. So
I like his exit. I like the way he died in the opening scene. That was actually pretty good and vindicated, and I love his little callback to the first
full
one.
Circle for him, I think. You know.
Well, yeah, it was, and he had a nice little callback. We have a Hulk.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was nice. That was a good way for him to go. And he tried to stab him. It didn't work, but he tried. You know what? He tried.
You know, ironically, the most surprising death in the whole movie was the first one with Heimdall. Just like, I mean, Idris Elba, I knew you wanted out, but still caught me off guard.
Again, man, the theme of this movie is death. Everything you know and love is dead.
Also, that's the first plot hole of this movie, I think. Like, he uses his last power to transport, not Thor, not the cube, the Tesseract, whatever, but Hulk. Why do you... Like, he just...
Because
Thanos just beat him. Why do you care?
Because he knows that the Hulk's going to play a big part in this, and he knows that Thor can take care of himself. So
no, that's way too specific.
No, it's not. It's actually Heimdall can see the future in some timelines, so it's understandable that he would think, okay, Banner's human. He's not going to survive this. Yeah. Thor's a god. He has a shot. Heimdall would figure that out. Thor can survive in space,
and he can take a beating, so Thor has a better chance of surviving.
Exactly. Plus, Thor... And okay, I'm just going to say this right now. Thor's story through this whole thing was fucking awesome. I love where he goes in this whole thing.
Thor is the best character in this movie. I mean, or the most badass, if nothing else.
I don't know about that, but I love his story. I love where he goes. He goes all the way. He basically reenacts Norse mythology by, hiring the dwarves that work on a dying star, which is super cool. He hires Peter Dinklage to make him a big fuck-off axe, which is great, by the way. I fucking love Stormbreaker.
Groot puts it together with his own arm. That is so
Which
awesome.
is appropriate. I love that he can speak Groot because Thor is the god of oak trees. So that makes sense that he can talk oak tree, which is what I'm guessing Groot is, because how else can he talk to that nasty little teen boy?
Because it was an elective in the SCART, man.
I don't know. I don't buy that. I think it's...
I mean, yeah, it's a good nod to that mythology roots, but, I mean, yeah.
Well, maybe. Either way, I do love that now Thor can just kind of... I'm just going to say it right now. Screw the Bifrost. We're going to call it what it actually is. Thor can teleport anywhere he wants now.
Yes.
And that's pretty cool. I love the fact that now the Avengers have their own little teleport system. They have their own little wormhole.
Yeah, no, his whole story here, I mean, just he starts from the bottom, everything's taken away from him. Like, the whole moment when he's telling Rocket about all he's lost, it's really, that's good acting, man. That Hemsworth really brought it there.
Oh, yeah, totally, dude. And dude, fucking even Rocket gets a big moment. Like, even he's like, wow, this poor
Everybody
guy,
gets a
dude.
moment. That I think is the most impressive thing about this movie overall. It's like, the balance, I mean... Whether it has flaws, undeniably, it's not a perfect movie. But the fact that this movie exists and works in any level is a victory. I mean, it's
when you're dealing with this many characters, literally every character they've introduced had something to do with it, and it was big. And not just all the ones that exist. They introduced new ones. We get a whole little villain squad. We get Squidward the Psychic. We get Devil Horn Succubus fan art. We get Giant Guy who gives the biggest plot hole of the movie, by the way. I'll go into that later. I think y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get... There was a fourth one. Who was the fourth one? Was that little Lego... Was that
the
Legolas,
guy with the
but
staff.
not really? Yeah, okay.
Was the guy with the staff.
Yeah, evil Legolas.
They're all, with the exception of the Maw guy, which was the only memorable one, and the only one with lines, really. The other ones all either said...
I was going to say, the rest of them just kind of grunt and roar. Maw was like fucking Palpatine. He's like, yes, indeed. You cannot beat me. My powers are beyond yours.
Yeah, no, I kind of dug the look and the power set, and he had like this sort of like annoying personality, but in a funny way. Like he was
an ass. He's just a snobby dickhead. I love the way he goes out. He's like.
I love when he says the line. He's like, "I'll take it off your corpse." Like it's just like so fit, trying to hissy fit. You know, like
that is pretty funny. But yeah, they came and went pretty fast. But you know what? I'm just going to talk about it. One of those henchmen delivers us the biggest plot hole in the whole movie. One of them loses their arm thanks to Doctor Strange's portal, which we've established cuts things off if you're not inside them. Why the fuck didn't Doctor Strange portal the thing off of Thanos' hand? Cut his damn arm off. Jesus!
He forgets that he has portals except when he uses them in battle. So, yeah, there is no reason.
Now, granted, Strange is a million times better in this movie. I love his magic tricks. He's way more in control. I love his character in this movie.
He is the Sorcerer Supreme. You cannot deny it in this movie.
Yeah, he does way better.
This movie did to Doctor Strange what Civil War did to Ant-Man for me. Because in their own movies, I'm like, I mean, I don't hate them.
I fully agree with that statement. I fully agree with you. In each of their individual movies, they weren't very impressive. In this one, they went all out. I mean, Strange... Yeah, Strange doesn't just do the sling ring trick. He doesn't just do his, he doesn't just do his little magical lasso thing. He broke out a lot more, and that's cool. I'm like, yes, no
turning
stupid
a black hole into butterflies.
I didn't think I would be giving Cumberbatch any praise anytime soon.
No, he did great.
There you go, you owned it, man.
Yeah, he did really. You know what? I just figured it out. On his own, he's just. Meh. But when he's working off the other Avengers, he's pretty damn good. You know, it's the same thing with the rest. You know, when the Avengers are playing
with
off
each
other,
directors, because maybe this team knows how to use them better than the guy who did.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe collaboration just brings out the best in them, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, fuck. Every
That's what made the
Avengers
first
movie,
Avengers so great. They're all just staying in character, acting off each other.
Yeah, and that movie wasn't perfect, and Ultron I don't think was very good. But
yeah, Ultron was.
But even
I
still,
the first movie, although I admit it has a lot of mistakes, but
it does.
This one evokes the first one in many ways because it does feel like a true event comic, more like this just everybody. And this was a complaint that I saw, not a big one, just a few people, but I'm amazed that anybody would say this. That some people were complaining that like, okay, so I don't know who half these people are, and I feel like this movie didn't really capture me. So it's like, dude. This is the 18th movie of a series. All these characters are being introduced at least twice already in their own movies. Like you can't. You can't jump into like season 4 of a TV show and be like, I don't understand who any of these people are. Like,
yeah, no shit, because you didn't watch the precursors. Fuck.
At this point,
how can you watch a finale?
Yeah, you've really got no one to blame.
So
but
you
yourself.
do realize this is the.
Unless you've been living on a rock or a mountain or something, and you haven't been aware that these movies have been going on for 10 years, which is a feat in my opinion. Then
yeah, and not just that, but this is a sequel movie. I mean, you can call it an epic, whatever you want, but it's a sequel. It's the third in a series of movies. I know they're all connected, but Avengers is its own series.
Yeah,
Avengers 1, 2, and 3.
Not introduces so much as develops or explores the origins of is Thanos, who is the protagonist of this movie. And everybody else has already shown up and being established, and we know who they are and what their deal is.
But, I mean, I guess the only really one that's never going to get their own movie is Black Widow or Hawkeye, because fuck them, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, Hawkeye wasn't in this movie, or Ant-Man, so, I mean...
Or Ant-Man.
They're going to be in the next one.
Ant-Man makes sense, because his movie is literally in, like, a month, so I get they were saving him for that.
Not just that, but someone brought up something really interesting. Actually, Jason brought this up. He told me that if Ant-Man was there... it would have been a lot easier to get that gauntlet off his hand. And it's true. If Ant-Man were there, that gauntlet wouldn't have survived long.
Pretty much. I mean, that would have been... Yeah.
Or at least the gems. He could have removed those gems. Or
I don't really care about Hawkeye, so, I mean, whatever.
Well, I mean, Hawkeye's on the farm.
Yeah, they confirmed that he plays a role in the next one. I don't know if it's a key role or he's just there to acknowledge him. But anyway.
So he's one of the few people that didn't turn into cigarette ash.
I feel like they've implied that his family did get turned into ash, and he lives, and he's like, I will have my vengeance upon Thanos or whatever.
Ooh, that poor family we don't know anything about. I'm so emotionally attached to them. Anyway, no, but seriously, that whole family was pointless. I still don't get the point at all.
I get it. It was.
I'm sorry.
I don't think it was the best time to do it or the best way, but they were basically humanizing it. It was basically. I get what Josh Whedon was trying to do in that movie,
but they weren't needed. They're like the entire side cast of Thor with Natalie and poop face, Zoe Deschanel.
They're all basically these gods and stars and superstars, and when they have to get out of it, Hawkeye's like, okay, look, let's go to my house, and you can feel how out of place they feel. They're looking at this housewarming, feeling of like the wife, the kids, the family life, and they're all like, what is this? I don't know how to feel. Like, they're out of water, They're like the fish out of water in that setting.
Go back in the shack, honey. Hawkeye's gonna deal with this.
That's part of, like, what that movie was trying to say. Again, Age of Ultron had better ideas and execution in a lot of things, but I appreciate at least what he was trying to say there. Whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like the only thing Hawkeye brings to the team, a sense of normalcy.
Well, I mean, he's going to have to bring more because, I mean, who's left? Okay, so Tony and Cap and Doctor Strange are back.
Oh, no, wait. I have a list. I sort of got... when the first time I watched it, the credits were rolling, I wrote down everybody who was dead and everybody who was still alive.
Oh, I mean, you can probably just Wikipedia that. But anyway, the point is, okay, who's left?
The original 6 Avengers, Rocket, War Machine.
Yeah, Rocket's left.
Let's see. The original 6 Avengers.
Yeah, the original 6.
Rocket,
because of course.
6, War Machine.
The Hulk is still the Hulk is still around. Wong's around. Wong's still here.
Oh yeah.
The general name I can't pronounce.
Okoye and M'Baku, they're both alive. And
yep,
they
are there.
I feel like what's going to happen is that Okoye is going to join the war party, the revenge party, whatever we call it, and M'Baku is going to become the
Did Shuri survive the cigarette buttoning?
They
Is she
didn't
still
show
around?
her, so it could be either.
I hope she did. I really hope Shuri survived.
I love Shuri. You leave her
Shuri
alone.
is best Marvel girl. Yes.
Shuri does machines. Anyway,
Although,
let's see.
I did laugh at this because the directors, in an interview I saw after the movie came out, they were asking who's left. I mean, besides the heroes. I mean, in the Marvel universe, who's left and who's gone that we don't know about? And they're like, well, Betty Ross is dead.
Who?
The Hulk's girlfriend for that first movie that never came up again. She's
Who?
dead.
Who is that? Is that thing that never happened? Oh, okay. Hey, what about Edward? You know what? Did Edward Norton die? Because he was the Hulk at one point. How about that other schmuck nobody liked? Is he dead too?
You know what? I think they said that on purpose because in this movie, the Secretary of State, Secretary of State. With the mustache, he's like, okay, the world's coming to hell, but arrest these people. Rhodey, you versus 6, go. You can do this. I believe in you.
Yeah.
I hope he's one of the casualties.
Yeah, Rhodey, you and your broke-ass leg, you're going to save the universe.
No, it's just not even save the universe. It's like, with all this going on, he's like, arrest them. Like, dude, they came here to help despite you hounding them, and your reaction is, when you need backup and backup shows up when you don't deserve it, is arrest them? Fuck you.
He's an officer. By law, he has to. I mean, he doesn't have a choice.
Oh, whatever. It's you know what I mean. He's taking it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's his character though. He's a soldier boy. He's gonna be dutiful to his job.
But I feel like
stubbornly
the Russos,
devoted to his job.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Russos confirmed that his daughter Betty Ross died because in the next movie he's gonna be like, okay, my daughter's dead, so fuck formality, fuck the army. I'm just gonna. Where do I sign up to kick Thanos' ass?
Yeah, boo hoo hoo. Well, see, the problem is, not everybody knew about Thanos. That's the big problem. Is that only like half the Avengers knew about Thanos. The other half were kind of playing catch up. Like, okay, what's going on? Why are we reenacting the first movie and beating up a horde of alien assholes with weird armor? Why are we doing this again? Oh, okay. The big purple guy that just came through the portal and looks mighty pissed and wants his jewels. Okay.
You know what? Actually, that's another thing that I really appreciated because the movie opens with like a mini version of Avengers 1 in the Battle of New York. And you think, okay, because when see the trailers, I thought that half the movie was going to be that again. And I'm like, look, whatever. But I like that it's only like the prologue and then everything but the same. Everything's new. I love that.
I mean, what I saw, it opens up in space and Thanos is killing all the Asgardians. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, he means when Ebony Maw attacks New York.
I thought half the movie was going to be that from the trailers. That they're going to be fighting half of the movie in space with Thanos and the other half in New York again.
I see.
And I'm glad that wasn't the case. That's all I'm saying.
Well, no. I mean, they're not going to... Dude, this movie is really long. They're not going to spend any time rehashing what we already saw. Come on.
Yeah, no.
The movie's long enough.
I mean, that's what Josh Whedon did with Avengers 2, which I hated because of that.
That's
and
Josh
he
Whedon
learned,
for
and
you.
he learned his lesson.
Well, yeah,
No,
he's
he
not in
didn't.
this, but no, he didn't. You're right.
Well,
Justice League proves he did not learn his lesson.
okay, he learned a lesson. I'm not sure if it was the right one, but he learned something, I think.
Youth hope. But anyway, but yeah, I appreciate that this movie really took risks and was really trying to be different. Yeah, sure, some things were familiar. It's a Marvel flavor, but they took us to places and through things that we didn't expect or saw coming.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Some things, if I'm very honest, I'm still scratching my head over. And maybe it's because I don't read Marvel comics, but I just don't get what the fuck was up with that Red Skull thing. Come on, guys, back me up here. Why is Red Skull on the planet of Soul Gem?
Yeah, we weren't exactly scratching our heads to find out what happened to it. I assume he just died in the vacuum of space.
Seriously, what the hell was that?
Like with the rest of this movie, I feel it's one of those things where you have to take it in good faith and just look. It's people keep asking us, is Red Hood going to show up? What happened to him? Is he dead? Is he alive somewhere?
I can buy it. I just want to know why. I actually like the fact that he's the guardian of the Soul Gem because he's interacted with Infinity Stones. I can totally buy that he's some kind of guardian for one of them now. I just want to know why and how.
The Space Stone magically teleports him to a planet of the other soul, the Soul Stone, and he's like, "What did the stone? Okay, you will now be my guardian and stand here for all time, explaining what to do."
That would have been nice.
Good luck.
That would have been nice to hear. It's like, I mean, I guess it would have been awkward to do that, but because he'd never met Thanos or Gamora, but it's just weird seeing a Marvel villain that has never interacted with these two before is suddenly there, and it's like, well, we know who he is, but they don't. What is the point? I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of a weird thing to. I mean, I like it. He looks perfect for a creepy Grim Reaper Guardian.
It could have been any character in that situation doing that role. I mean, it could have been Betty Ross. Could have been like, I was the lost character, and I'm here to explain the soul. Who are you, Betty? How do you know this?
Whatever. I mean, I guess it's just a nitpick. It's like, why? Yeah. I mean, I get why they did it, but like, it just raises a couple of questions that I kind of want answered. Maybe they'll answer it in the next movie. I don't know, because let's be honest here. The soul gem is probably going to be the big.
At least they didn't spend too much money getting a Hugo Weaving cameo.
Well, no, it's not Hugo Weaving, but I mean, it looks exactly like him, and he did a good imitation, I thought.
Well,
makeup and a voice imitator.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever. I can buy that he's the guardian of the Soul Gem, and like I said, I think the Soul Gem is going to play a really big part in whatever MacGuffin defeats Thanos next time, so I'll buy it. I won't question it. I'll just say, fun cameo, he's back.
No, it was an interesting cameo, and I think they really just did that to like get fans off their backs about Red Skull. Like, he's somewhere out there in space doing that. He's not going to show up because he's doing that. Leave us alone. Stop asking about him.
Okay,
Hugo Weaving does not want to be in the movie again.
All right, I can. You know what? I'll take that as a satisfactory reason. Just like I'll take the fact that Cap and Stark are undoubtedly going to die because they don't want to be in any more of these movies. Same thing. Yeah. I'll buy it.
No, this movie literally leaves the original Avengers alive so they can have one last glory adventure. And
that's absolutely the reason. Yeah, they left the big ones around so that they could either die or just quit. I mean, Tony and Cap are dead meat. There's no way they're not. They're the two. They are the biggest players on this team. There's no way they're not going to die together in a nice, gay but not really bro hug of destiny that's going to overcome odds and save the world.
With it. I don't care. I mean, they can die kissing as they explode or whatever.
And they very well might. I mean, who knows? I thought that Stark was saving himself for Banner, but I mean that this works too, I guess.
They can share.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be kind of awkward though, because I mean, he and Pepper are apparently married now, so he's going to have to explain to Pepper why he had an affair with his, old man and yet young man side boyfriend in space while they were beating Jay Leno's purple brother.
I think she'll understand.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she has tons of Captain America porn on her iPad, but that's no reason for Tony cheating on her in space. I mean, come on, let's be gentlemen.
That's true. Okay, you're right. I forgot. I feel like maybe
I
think maybe Tony talked to her. And it's like, if there was one person I could cheat with you. Could it be Captain America? Would that be cool? She's like, you know what? Captain America, I support you.
Okay, you're talking about a freebie. A lot of times couples will say, okay, I'll give you a freebie. You name the person, and that'll be your freebie. So okay, let's.
Yeah.
Okay. So
if they go, Tony's freebie. I feel like Pepper would support him on that.
Okay. Well, I mean, who wouldn't really? But still, I mean that's a long way off. We don't know yet. We know they will die. We just don't know how. And how long they will kiss, we just don't know yet. We don't have the leaks.
I will say 4, maybe even 5 of the original 6 Avengers are pretty much done after this movie. The only one that I know for sure that will probably come back is Hemsworth. I mean, and only because the character has really turned around.
Thor is awesome again
for him. Like he basically said in an interview that he loves the way he was able to reinvent the character in Ragnarok, and he loves how fans have really suddenly he's everybody's favorite Avenger. And he was
because
when
Thor was transformed. Thor went from an angry little prince boy to a really, really cool warrior guy, and it's like, I'm totally on board with new Thor. I effing love the guy.
Yeah,
the reason why is because we saw throughout the whole movie he had to work hard to gain that hammer. He had to crawl his way back up to get his powers back, and it paid off.
He nearly killed himself doing it. He killed himself trying to make that damn axe, and damn it, he deserves his Bifrosted power.
Mm-hmm. He looks awesome. He's cool. Actually, the only complaint with Thor in this movie, the only thing I will nitpick, is that I wish he kept the eye patch. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that was an important defining part of his character.
I like the eye patch too, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dig the heterochromia. I don't know. I kind of like that.
I get
the eye patch made him more made him look more interesting.
It really felt like he had become the new Odin in a way. Like he'd really taken over.
Well,
his father's
I know
that's
that's the obvious symbolism, but let's be honest here. The reason they put an eye back in him is because fans didn't like it. Let's be honest.
No, fans liked it. I think maybe it was somebody
no,
who was like, he doesn't look good without
they wouldn't have.
with the eye patches.
They wouldn't have done that unless a focus group said, "Nope, take the eye off. He's our man candy. We want to see the whole face. Come on." I guarantee you that's what happened. I guarantee you whenever aesthetic details are introduced and then immediately rescinded, it's almost always because a focus group voted poorly. I guarantee it. It's because the fangirls couldn't stand not seeing his full face.
Whatever. I mean, I don't know if you're right or not, but whatever the reason, I don't care for it. It was such a perfect visual representation of his character progress, and
I liked it too. But
I mean, the joke with Rocket was funny. Like if they were going to do it, I guess they found the best way to do it. But still, I wish they kept it.
But I think no one's denying his hair looks way better. I'm sorry, I am digging.
Thor has grown on me.
Yes, I am really digging Army Thor. I really like him.
I do. Yeah, I mean it's a good look. I don't know. I mean, I was skeptical when they did it in the Ragnarok, but the more I've seen it, the more I grow on it.
I love it.
I love it. The whole. It's like
I love it too. I mean, it goes. It goes with his transformation. He started off as a primping, preening pretty boy, and now he's a fucking hardened soldier. I love it. I love the change.
He was a dude before, but now he is a man.
He's a man. He's a man. I mean, fucking, to be honest, Banner sums up my whole feelings on the subject. When he was fighting in that war with them alien dogs, and then Thor shows up, he's like, "Oh, you're so screwed now." And I'm like, "Yep, pretty much." I'm like, that's pretty much what I saw. When I saw that boy coming down on his big old tornado lightning and throwing that axe around, I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah."
I feel like it was Drax who had the perfect sum up for me with him. It was just like, before he was a guy, now he's a man. He's a space pirate angel.
Yeah, Space Pirate Angel. That is a perfect... I mean, that's Thor's new hashtag, I'm reasonably sure, is just they call him Space Pirate Angel.
He is, though. He really is. I love it.
Is. I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind at all. And now he's got an axe, so I'm digging Stormbreaker. He meets
the Guardians and how they react to him, and he reacts to them, and it was like, it really plays with your expectations. That whole, like, she is the daughter of Thanos. He's like, what? Yeah, I understand. I mean, he needs
more.
I just killed my brother.
He needs more practice. Admittedly, he needs more practice with Stormbreaker because, as Thanos said, you should have aimed for the head. Yeah. Dumb shit.
God, like, Josh Brolin's performance about that was amazing.
That's one thing that bothers me because it's like, we give crap to Peter Quill for overreacting. Like having his emotions cost us the universe, but so was Thor's really. Like if he had aimed for the head, if he had resisted the urge to boast, like I told you I was going to kill you.
No one's saying the others didn't make mistakes. Personally, and if I'm being very honest, I know this is unpopular. I know they did, but to me personally, two people made the biggest mistakes. One was Star-Lord for his dickatry, whatever. That's just him. The other one, and I know people gonna get hate for this, Scarlet Witch fucked up too. If Scarlet Witch had just nutted up, did what she knew she was gonna have to do sooner, Thanos wouldn't have done his little clocky trick and gotten his rock. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think he could have.
That's true.
It's time. He can control time, so it doesn't matter.
I know that, but the thing is, there's a way it could have been scheduled so that couldn't happen. I mean, for God's sakes, she could have... I'm sorry, but she knew she was going to have to kill him, and she did. And she did do the right thing. And, I'm sitting there feeling bad for her. I'm sorry, I didn't want you to have to do that. But come on, bitch, you knew you were going to have to do that. Why'd you wait? Now Purple Jay Leto's going to rule the universe, and it's all Star-Lord's fault. And also, you had some part to play in it, but whatever.
I don't know. I don't agree with you there.
You resurrected your lover just so he could kill him himself.
Yeah.
He's the master of time. He could have turned the clock a year ago.
Yes,
whatever.
I know. I'm aware of what he can do. I can't help but thinking if Scarlet Witch was just a tiny, weensy bit more proactive, that wouldn't have happened. But whatever. For all I know, Thanos has some ability to tell where everything is. And I don't know.
I feel like he might have been the weakest character in this movie, though. I mean, I get why they did it the way they did it, but Vision was kind of like in pain this whole movie, kind of useless.
Vision, okay.
You know?
Well, he's the key. I mean, keys are always like that. They're always put into vulnerable positions.
He's literally been stabbed through the whole movie. He's just sort of like, I'm so weak. I mean, I fought an army of killer robots.
Yeah,
but one stab, I'm done. Sorry.
Okay, but you know why that is. But you know why that is, though, right? Vision is a huge player. He's a big, powerful guy. They had to take him out, otherwise people would throw a shit fit over saying like, how could Thanos win when Vision is so powerful? And it's like they had to find a way to weaken him.
He knew about all the Avengers. He knew their powers and skills, so he would obviously make some way to neutralize Vision's power.
I don't know about that. I don't know if that's true. Thanos almost lost. The Avengers ganged up on him and they almost won. So I don't think he knew everything. I think he was aware of the stone's power, but I don't think he was prepared for everything. He almost lost.
Well, he had to know about Vision somehow. Vision is the Mind Stone at some point. So.
Sure,
I feel
I get that.
What happened, because this is something from the comic that I think the directors were hinting at when he says to Stark, "I know you." I feel like it wasn't that before this movie started. He like, "Oh yeah, Tony Stark on Earth." No. I think that the more gems or stones you get in the glove, the more omnipotent you become. And like in the comic, when he has all of them, he literally becomes aware of everything at once.
That may be true, but I like to think it's actually because of what was said in the first movie. I think, remember when Nick Fury says, now they all worlds know. And then at the very end, we see Thanos as being informed of what happened on Earth. The Avengers fucked with our army. To court them is to court death. And it's like, I think Thanos has been getting info. I think people have been spying on Earth, getting a good look at our biggest players, and giving it to him. They've been like, okay, so... you're the Iron Man. Because, let's be honest. Tony Stark's one of the most famous people on Earth. Of course Thanos is going to know who he is.
Okay, that's plausible. I'll give you that. That could work.
Right? Yeah. It really does seem implied that Thanos is getting information from Earth. Remember that dude? He's like, to court the Avengers is to court death itself. And
but
he
I
gives
don't
a little
want
smile.
that. I want, balance. It's not the same. My motivation has changed since Joss Whedon was out.
My point is, it's reasonable to assume that he was getting information.
Yeah, but I agree that the biggest surprise with me, because, how many jokes did we make about how silly Thanos looked and how he was probably going to be
there's the fact that he changed...
I'm going to say this. He is the anti-Stephen Wolf. Stephen Wolf, yes.
Well, it doesn't really matter. It's just a stupid character either way you say it. But, that he did change design, 3 times? He was different in the first one, in Guardians, and now here he's more human than he is big purple Jay Leno whale.
No, it's the same design. The only thing is that they kept the original design in the first scene, and then he takes the armor off, and okay, this is how I'm going to go for the rest of the movie, because...
And that's another thing. They kind of redid what they did in Thor. They gave him the helmet, and then they took it off, and it's like, nah... I can't really act in this thing. I'm not doing it. I'm taking this off.
My CG character is uncomfortable in this armor. I want it off.
Yeah,
you can tell the director's like, okay, we're going to keep the original look for 5 minutes, and then we're going to add our own, because screw you.
Okay, but again, though, you know why they did that. They did it to humanize him. They stripped off. They wanted him to look as human as possible, and you know what? They did a good job because he looks totally different from his other appearances. He looks less CG and more like a rotoscoped human, if that makes any sense. Purple rotoscoped
I get what
human.
You're saying, because there's weight to him. I don't know if it's the best CGI I've seen, but it's actually decent. I could feel he was there.
Yeah, no, you can, and that's because of all the scenes with him and Gamora. Fuck, every scene where he's with her as a child, that scene where he takes her aside and he's about to kill. Yeah, it's like, damn, man. Even when he's committing mass murder, you're like, yeah.
In one scene, they broke his entire character in not in a relatable way, but in a way that we could. Oh, okay, yeah, you know what I mean,
Well, you don't relate to him, but you understand him. You get where he's coming from. You don't agree with him, but you get where he's coming from. You get why he wants to do this.
He's a similar villain to Killmonger in that, he's a character with a point that has been driven into... I don't know if insanity is the right word. I guess he is insane.
He is. He's called the Mad Titan.
Yeah, he doesn't have the traditional definition of insanity that we're used to. He's not the Joker, but
his heart's in the right place. Yeah.
He legitimately wants to help people.
Yeah, his goal. He thinks he does. A psychopath always thinks they're doing the right thing, but he comes from a good place. his method is fucked up. It's like
it's morally wrong on every level.
But I figure it out. Here's how you know he's a psychopath, and how because a psychopath doesn't know that he is one. And the thing is, like, a lot of people were saying, like, this movie's bogus because, like, okay, so Thanos wants to balance the universe. Why didn't he just, instead of kill half the universe, they just, like, duplicate all the resources in the universe?
I saw that post.
And I saw
that post, and there was a big argument about Thanos saying why he can't do that.
And that's the key of it, because as a psychopath, because he is crazy, he can't acknowledge, he can't even contemplate another possibility than the one he's fixated.
No.
He's like, no, that's not... What? That's not right. No, what I said is what's the only way. It's the only way. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes, I am sure. Don't question
well,
me. He's like,
again, welcome to psychopath. Welcome to psychopathy. It's like, a psychopath thinks one thing and only that one thing, fixates, and doesn't really listen to any other alternative. They know what they think is right and they do it.
Somebody said, like, the best example to counter that. It was like, that's the same reason why Hannibal Lecter doesn't just become a vegetarian. I'm sure somebody suggested it at some point, but that's why he is.
He's a psycho. Yeah, it's like just because his goal is, relatable doesn't mean that anything he does to achieve it is good. He's still an asshole, and I still want him to go down. But
yeah, he's so
at the very least,
right. Like the whole telling the Doctor Strange, like, I saw it coming, and I was proven right. He's like, well, congratulations, you're an asshole because you let it happen, or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure there's a Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode that has a really great quote: "Great motivation, still evil."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that.
Great motivation, still evil.
Same as Killmonger. It's like, you get where he's coming from. You care for your people.
Yeah.
You want there to be
and
balance,
he's not technically wrong, but his method is just fucked beyond fucked.
Thanos is the point. Like, there's few resources, and there should be not control of life in that sense of, like, we have to kill people to limit people, but there should be ways to improve on the conditions, but not genocide.
Well, you know what I like to think. I like to think it's just because he didn't know how to grow corn. It's like, he knows how to kill people. But
he was a terrible farmer.
God damn it, Thanos just can't farm.
If at the end of his speech, Doctor Strange just like, did you try, I don't know, growing corn? He's like, what?
Yeah. But you know what? That's really the problem at all. Thanos can't farm. That's really, all he knows how to do is kill. Thanos can't farm.
Even with the Infinity Gauntlet, he would still be a terrible farmer.
Yep. I guess you all gotta die, because Thanos can't farm.
It's like, no, farm's not the answer. It's just killing everybody. I'm sure of this. Did you even try? No, I'm sure.
Screw making more food. We just need less people. More food, less people.
But you could create, instead of wiping half the universe with a snap, you could create, like, a lot of corn or something. I'm like, no, that can't be right. It's not.
Or here's an idea. Why don't you just snap your finger and just give everyone food stamps and money?
But that's what reminds us, if you can detract yourself from, like, the relatability of him, that he is a villain. Yeah. He is crazy, in his own way.
The idea being that his heart was sickly enough in the right place. He just did not think it through. There's a million other better ways you could have used them stones, but nope. Yeah. Thanos doesn't want to farm.
I mean, he definitely loved Gamora, but, like, in his own sick way of, like, I came to your planet and, saved you from
I love you to death.
Like, feeding you once a day instead of twice a day, it's like, be thankful.
Somebody apparently forgot to tell Thanos that I love you to death is metaphorical and not to be taken seriously. He really took that literally, didn't he?
So it's not just Drax's people that are 100% literal.
Well, I mean, he is big and thick and colorful like Drax, so that doesn't surprise me. Maybe they come from the same sector of space where everybody is a primary color and uber literal.
Yeah, pretty much, but it's...
Maybe.
Man, this movie has so many layers.
Layers! Avengers has layers!
Yeah,
Thanos has layers.
Thanos has layers!
We pointed a lot of plot holes. This movie does have plot holes, and but it's so goddamn enjoyable. It's just, like, the culmination of so much, of all these characters coming together, and the action, the emotion... The jokes.
And the fact that they can make it all make sense. They can make it all... They made, like, 7 different storylines converge together, and it all made sense. That's impressive. That's
Yeah,
I don't
tell
care who
50
you are.
years from now, they're going to be talking about this in film schools.
Yeah.
Avengers is going to be like Filmology 101.
It's going to be a part. It's going to have it. Well, I mean,
yeah.
it's going to be the movie that sort of redefined how to do a cinematic universe. It's not the first one. Honestly, Universal horror movies are the first one to do that. But let's be honest here. They they rewrote the rule book.
I feel like the current dark universe is going to be more likely in those classes. Just okay, this is what you don't want to do.
No,
Okay.
DC EU is going to be in that universe.
Nope. Okay, that
It's gonna
does
be
it.
in that class.
I'm calling it. This is over. This stream is over because I ain't having no talk about the DCEAU, and I ain't having no Dark Universe speak. I'm calling it quits. Before these two go any further, I'm just gonna say, go watch Infinity War like a normal human being, and be sure to download all the leaked footage from before next year's Infinity War Part 2 Electric Boogaloo right now.
Well, that's one way to wrap it up. But I guess if there's some other thoughts, I guess I would say that this movie isn't perfect, but it is an amazing culmination of so much and impressive feat of cinematic, achievement. But take it for what it was. We enjoyed it, I think, for the most part, and I'm curious to see how they cap it off. I mean, the Avengers 4 is not going to be the end, but it is going to be the end of everything we know so far. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how they cap it off either. For now, though, I'm your humble host, starbeastrave, and then over there is a like 7711.
Yep.
And over next to him is a lake with too many demongrocerystore. I can't even get your names right anymore. That's Anthony.
Yes, and please remember to like, subscribe, check out all our different social media projects, and thank you, and good night.
Learn how to farm so you don't kill people.